Okay, just a few more things to show you here. What about working on multiple images inside Photoshop? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit my F key one more time. There's that full screen. Remember that? And I'm going to hit F one more time. I'm back to my tabs here. Remember that new image that I'd created? Now, check this out. I'm going to go and open up a few more images. So, I'm going to go to the File menu here, File, and then I'm looking for Open, or Control-O, or Command-O on the Mac. Now, the images that I'm after Vibrance, and I'm after Statue. Now, what I've done here is I've held down the Control key here on the Windows side or Command on the Mac. Both images are highlighted. I can open more than one image at a time here inside Photoshop. And of course, notice that each image opens up in its own separate tab across the top inside Photoshop. Now, that's all fine and well, but that may drive you a little bit nuts. Let me show you something real quick just while I think of it. I'm going to go back into my preferences. Remember the keyboard shortcut to get into your preferences? Control K or Command K on the Mac. Look for Interface, head to Interface. And down towards the bottom inside the interface, open documents as tabs. You may not want to work with tabs. It's up to you. I gotta be honest, I've been using Photoshop CS4 for quite a while now. I don't like the tabs. I'm really not used to them. So I've turned this off in my version of Photoshop anyway. You may want to do the same. I'll leave mine off here and I'm going to click on OK. And what that would give me, if I were to go and open up some more files, it would give me each image opened inside its own separate image window. Something like this. This is what I'm going to show you next. I'm going to go up to the top here, up on my Applications bar, Arrange Documents, and I could go Float All in Windows. That gives me separate image windows for each of my images. There, something like that. This is more of a traditional way to work inside Photoshop, something like that. Now, I have a bunch of other options inside this little appearance menu here. I could consolidate all, put them all back into the tabs, like this. Again, you may like that. I could do something like this second guy here, Tile All, something like that. You may want to experiment with these a little bit and decide which way you like working with your multiple images. It's really up to you. I'll go back to Consolidate All here. If you like your keyboard shortcuts, this is one you'll like. On the Windows side, if I want to toggle between open image windows, Control Tab will do it for me. It'll allow me to flip between open image windows. On the Mac, it's Command tilde, the squiggly key that's just way up in the top left corner of your keyboard. Okay, looking good. How about rulers and guides? And there's something called the grid as well. I'm going to head up to my View Extras menu up at the top here. My guides are already turned on. I'll talk about guides in a second. I'm going to go down to Show Rulers. That's going to give me a horizontal ruler across the top of my window and a vertical ruler running down the left-hand side. Now, what I can do with my rulers is I can right click on them here or control click on them on the Mac, and I can switch my unit of measurement on the fly if I want to. This is fantastic. This is something I use all the time when I'm switching between a print job and a web design job. Usually for myself, it's between pixels and inches. Saves going all the way back into the preferences and changing them there. Now, what are guides? Well, they're fantastic when you're creating some kind of a layout inside Photoshop, maybe a web interface or some kind of a flyer or poster or something. To create a guide, which is a non-printing line, all I do is I bring my cursor up into my ruler, up at the top, or into the ruler running down the side, and all I do is I click and drag out. That's going to pull a guide out onto my image window. If you've worked with guides in some of your other programs, like Illustrator or InDesign. A lot of graphics programs have guides. It's all the same stuff. Really, really easy stuff. Okay? You can pull out as many guides as you want. You can temporarily disable your guides by choosing Show Guides from the View Extras pop-down menu up at the top, or the good old keyboard shortcut, Control semicolon or Command semicolon on the Mac there. So there's your guides there. I can also toggle my rulers on and off by going Control R or Command R once again on the Mac. And last but not least, I have my grid. I don't know very many people that like the grid. I am not a fan of the grid. Some people go crazy for it. So you can turn your grid on if you want. Again, if you're trying to tightly lay out a poster or some kind of a print document. I'm going to toggle my grid off by hitting Control single quote or Command single quote, which is the key just to the right of my semicolon key.